In your estimation, what should be our ideal country and its ideal government? We feel as if the ruling government is responsible to a great extent for all our present distress.
Why are we accusing the government for all such shortfalls? The government is not a separate entity. The government is made of representatives of the people, and it works for the people. We find that people themselves differ in their thoughts and actions. Then again, they proceed in their own different ways to whatsoever might be their goal or objective. The government has to weigh and assess what should be the best way to deliver maximum good to the maximum number of the needy population. The government has to take measured steps by thorough calculation and take the steps accordingly. That is the way for the government to succeed in its efforts and earn popularity. In my opinion, all members of the government, including officers and ministers, must behave endearingly with the people for whom they are at their jobs. They have to listen with attention to the complaints made by the aggrieved sections of the people. But what is happening today is just the opposite. There are reports of negligence, misbehavior, and the attitude of domination from the side of the functionalist. People are harassed to the extreme, even for a petty service, say a small permit or a license. They are always deprived, but at the same time, all privilege and opportunity go to the well-placed and undeserving members of high society who have no genuine need for these free privileges. On the one hand, the men of the ruling party are getting preferential treatment and support in all spheres of government activity, be it education, administration, health services and the like, while others are being overlooked, deprived and sidetracked. That is why people are feeling deeply aggrieved and angered. In a democracy, the government must observe neutrality and treat all subjects alike. So when people find foul lapses in the government's administrative functions, they get furious and raise loud voices of protest. People who are genuinely needy and deserving are being deprived. Some others who enjoy good backing from the high-ups are being awarded lavishly, ignoring all norms and principles of equity. In all the different departments of the government, vacant posts and a large number of newly created service posts are being filled up by party men, regardless of their qualification and fitness. When the deprived section protest and take recourse to agitation, they are subjected to a raw deal by the police and even by the military. Innocent people are harassed on false charges of non-events. Cases of personal rivalry are also avenged in such situations of confusion and injudiciousness. Such anomaly and misrule recur on and off, whichever party may be in power. It goes on in a cyclic order. There should be cases of good, impartial persons working in a particular department continuously for a long period. Efforts are made by interested bosses whenever a new party comes to power to remove him on any plea or other. If such pressure does not work, other punitive measures are taken against them, like stoppage of increment, provident fund, and such service benefits. Such tactics are known as cold torture. Such intimidation is often borne silently, without protest or complaint, by the affected employees out of fear and lack of courage. But such deprivation and injudiciousness cannot go on unchallenged for a very long time. Disputes are bound to arise as a natural course, from dispute to dissension. I raised my voice of warning a number of times. No one paid any heed to my cautioning. Now the government will have to reap the results of its misdeeds and failures. There's no escape from that. All their effort to keep others down would be of no avail. Dissidents will form an opponent group and try to revolt against the government. It will not be possible to subdue them by the normal measures of law and order. On the other hand, more complications will develop and create new problems for the government. The picture will be clear if we look at the situation created in our country by the British rulers through unjustified ways to clamp down on the people with their administrative supremacy. The disgruntled Indians reacted by raising protests. We find from history that the foreign rulers not only robbed and plundered valuable resources like money, materials, property, and other assets, they also created a class of self-interested bluffers, posing loyalty to the ruling community to obtain various types of financial advantages, such as contracts, permits, licenses, agencies, and the like. Much of this ill-gotten wealth and resources was either misused or changed hands for higher gains, but ultimately got lost owing to lack of competence and experience. Besides, various methods of torture were also applied on the helpless people of this country with the objective of ensuring domination and exploitation. Such stories are known to any of us through history. As a consequence of such misdemeanor by the foreign rulers, we witnessed the Sepoy Mutiny, Satyagraha, lawbreak, and ultimately our fight for freedom. As a result of the combined struggle of the people, we gained our freedom. But what has been the result? People are not getting justice, or whatever might be their reasonable expectation. If they are denied justice, then what will be their mental reaction? Instead of rendering proper service to the needy and the downtrodden class of people, the high officials, even the ministers, are taking undue privilege of their position and appropriating wealth and acquisitions at the cost of the suffering masses. This cannot continue for long. People will rise in protest in a body. That is certain. What is the present scenario in this country? There is no food, clothing, shelter, health services for their benefit. None to console them and come to their rescue. Adulteration is rampant, be it in food, medicine, or school education. The health services have totally broken down. The hospitals now look like playgrounds of vultures, where the persons on duty are making the best use of their time by manipulating evil designs against the true interests of the patients. Look at the planning for the country's development. Has there been any change for the betterment of the people's condition? The experiment of a new township at the Salt Lake by filling up the marshy land by pouring sand from the river Hooghly has been doomed to fail for the defects inherent in the overall planning. We need reservoirs of water ponds and lakes for the maintenance of a healthy atmosphere. Therefore, I think it would have been better to set up a sanatorium instead of a new township by incurring heavy expenditure. To my mind, the money would have been better utilized for fisheries development, nurseries, plantations, horticulture, and growing vegetables. In this way, we could provide employment to a large number of unemployed youths and at the same time produce various types of our daily needs. But unfortunately, that has not gone to the head of the ruling authorities, planners, and experts. That the upcoming Salt Lake City will be detrimental to the material interest and benefit of the people by destroying the existing gifts of bounteous nature. Why only the issue of Salt Lake? There are many other plans and proposals floated and advertised by the authorities, which would, at first sight, appear to be whimsical and fanciful, but by no means concrete and sustainable, if examined in an in-depth study. You might have seen advertisements in the newspapers in the vacancy columns inviting applications from suitable candidates with due qualification and sufficient experience. In these days of endless unemployment, a large number of candidates will send applications. But alas, it may so happen that for most of them, they will not be called for an interview. Even if a call comes at last, the applicant will have to incur traveling expenses from his own pocket. In maximum cases, such interviews are simply a hoax. The selection has been completed from amongst inside candidates, the near and dear ones of intimate relatives of the concerned authorities. Time, money, and energy, all gone in vain. These unfortunate youths could utilize their money to meet urgent family needs, and they could make better use of their time and energy on private tuitions to generate a little bit of income. But those who are in the chair never feel concerned about the fate of the cheated youths. This is highly immoral, to say the least. This continuing farce has not yet been challenged. No protest from any corner. That is the irony. The situation is the same in almost all departments and sections, offering scope and opportunity of any kind of servicing. Say in the case of jobs, permits, licenses, or work orders, the benefit goes only to those who are strong in muscle power, or money power, or patronage and privilege. That much is sufficient to seize the prize. Better qualified and deserving lots are wandering like vagabonds, but they lack in the moorings. Everywhere the bonds of kinship and intimacy count more than the bonds of uprightness and transparency. Even the hospitals have not been spared of corruption. The medicos and doctors are appointed by nepotism. Undeserving candidates with very marginal knowledge of disease and medicine enjoy the benefit of a good posting if he is adept at handling very basic tools like the stethoscope or the injection syringe. But at the root, there must be some powerful hands in his support. Look where we are today. The same situation prevails in the field of education also. Corrupt ways and means are being adopted in the selection process and the appointment of teachers. Even in the matter of admission into the educational institutions, qualified and earnest students are deprived the opportunity of admission. The benefit goes only to those who can offer some money this way or that. In the case of others, the recommendation from the hands of someone in power would also do the work. As a result of all such nefarious activities of the opportunists, the standard of education has gone down to a great extent. There is a growing generation of antisocials who have been subjected to this perverted way of education, and a lot of others who have been deprived of the chance of entering the seats of learning have gone astray. They find no other way to make a good use of their energy and endeavor, and they go in the way of perversion. Now is the time to bring them back to constructive activity, rather than the easy ways of indiscipline, disorder, dishonesty, and meaningless bravado. In the ultimate analysis, it is observed that nature does not tolerate such lawlessness, indiscipline, and social confusion, so we may rest assured that a change of the functional trend and the renewal of the social atmosphere are bound to take place. In fact, the common people of the land we live in are the real source of power for the country.